Welcome to OBS Metal Dash. Thanks for coming to the video. This is part one of, not really sure how many parts this video is going to take to do, but this is part one of the series on how to build this dash out of the kit that is laying on the floor right here, with your dash out of the way in your truck. This is a physical firewall out of, I'm not sure what bourbon or what it was from, but this is a firewall out of the truck, 88 to 94, and you will need this part here. We're going to go through all that, and we're going to show you how to make the kit for $750 into one of these dashboards right here. We'll start with all the tools that you need and all the parts that you get in the kit, and we're going to go through all the steps into, all the way into paint and primer and paint, or if you want to cover it. We're going to cover all the basics. So this is probably going to be, I have no idea how many parts this is going to be, but it's going to be quite a few parts. Okay, so let's go through some of the tools that you'll need to do this job. You'll need some metal fabrication experience. If you put it this way, if you can put a quarter panel on a car, doesn't matter what your make or model. If you can buy a quarter panel in a box from AMD or Dynacar or whoever, and you can physically put it on a car and make it look really, really good, then you can do this dashboard. That's just about the extent that you'll need. You won't need to be, chip proofs or nothing like that. It helps, yes, but that you don't need that. Okay, so first things first, safety is always first. You wear your safety glasses, and you wear your safety shield, and you wear your gloves when you're working, because this metal is sharp and it cuts your finger, and it feels like shit when it goes in your eye. So just a point ahead of time. So make sure you do that. Okay, so you'll need various different hammers. I just use the one. I'm good with that one. But you can use the one that has the angle flat if you need it. Most likely you won't need all that. Just one hammer is good. You'll need a 4-foot level square, so you can draw a nice straight line. And this helps, level right here. I always go and buy a brand new pack. Every time I build a dash, I buy a brand new pack of 5 Sharpies, because they wear out kind of quickly. They don't use the ink up, but they wear out, and then you get a really big mark instead of a small thin mark, and it's just not right. So now if you want to use a scribe or something like that, that's totally up to you, but I like brand new Sharpies. You'll need a square. Naturally, you'll need a tape measure. And when we get done doing a lot of our work, we're going to do some sanding and DA. So we need 180, an 80 grit, and a DA. And then I use this a lot. That's it. Adjustable angle finder there. So some of the air tools you'll need. Oh, okay. Here, how about this? You'll need the nutsert tool to set the nutserts in. And I use a long skinny one with the knurl bit, opening a hole up a little bit more if I need to. This is one of my favorite ones right here, this long. It really gives you more control. When you're cutting like this, it's a lot more control than when you're trying to cut like that. It works a lot better. And then you'll need 1/4-20 and 10/24 and for the nutsert. And those, they come with that kit. If you buy this kit at Harbor Freight, it's pretty cheap. You'll need a hole saw. I think there's 2. No, we won't use the hole saw on the big gauge. We'll just use the hole saw on the small gauge pad if we drill gauges. And you'll need a hole puncher, and then we don't really use that stepper. You just use the hole punch. I like to have 2 angle grinders, one with the small one and one with the bigger one. That way I don't have to switch this all the time. It's a real pain. And then I use this every once in a while, but not very often, but it's in the mix. It's always on my table. So a lot of these are good. I keep about 20 of these on the side of my table clamped. I use them all the time. They're real nice. You'll need 10 snips. This is the real hard right. See how hard right that is? That's a strong right hand. That works really, really good. And then they got, they call this the right hand, which That's not strong as the other one, but you'll need both of those. Vice grips, I use I got about 20 of each one of these styles. I use them all. Not every single one on every dash, but I use them in various different ways. So these are the vice grips that I have. If you don't have some, then you can use these. Those are cheap at Harbor Freight. Blowgun, and naturally you need a screw gun bit, and then various drill bits, and I use two cordless at each time. And there's the tool. So now let's go over to the kit. So the kit comes with all that you need. So when you get the kit, it's upside down now on the inside. You'll see right through there those 4 brackets. Those 4 brackets are going to go, they bolt up right there. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 there and 2 here. You don't use this middle one at all. So when you take the dash out, your old dash out, save those 4 screws on the top, because then you'll need them for this. And you don't need to do any bending or grinding or anything here. So first thing you'll do is you'll put this in place, and 4 screws on there. And when you get the kit, you'll notice at the bottom there's a line right there. So I leave that on there so you can cut it out, and I don't cut it out for 2 different reasons. One, just in case you want to do something a little bit different and not use that bracket, I leave that open for you. Or if you want to do something different with the dash, there's a couple different things you can do. So you'll need at least your door panels or a set of junk door panels in place, because you need these points right here. I just got a set of doors I chopped up. And you'll have those for your points for put it in place. So you'll need this bracket. There's 3 I shouldn't throw it on the floor. There's 3 pieces to it. There's a left and a right, and then this long middle piece right here. It bolts up under the steering column, kind of sandwiches the steering column, sandwiches it under it there. So you have to have that, and you have to put that in place. Put the bolts on each side, holding it in right here. And that aligns up with that right there. This line right here. There's that right there. And then you'll get all these parts here. There's the front fascia. We'll show you where to cut and how to cut and all the good stuff. And then I've got a left and a right, and the gauge cluster insert. And then there's the top, the gauge cluster, left and right of the sides of the gauge cluster. And then the various stuff for the glove box and the door and the sides of the inner glove box. So don't let it scare you. That's what the video is for. An instruction book is probably not so bad, but the video is much better because I'm going to make it in multiple parts so that you don't have to scroll through a 3-hour-long video looking for the 5 minutes that you need. So you'll be able to go to the part that you want versus where you're at on building this dash. All right, we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so you can see I got it on the jig now. I put see it up in there? There it is, right there. One there, and I didn't put 2 on the inside. I just used the 2 on the outside. But as long as the 2 inside ones are nice and tight up there, then all you need to do is just put those 2 screws in, and then I got clamps at the bottom. I cut out the bottom of it. So that's where it clears around the AC box and everything. So at this point now, if you're at this point right here, the next part is we need to put the box in here, grind these little rivets, the little pop rivets off, and put that box in there so that when we cut this part here out, the dash doesn't sink down because the dash will just go. So one more time, right? So we're going to put this in next, and we're going to weld it to here and here and here and here, and then that way we can cut this out for the steering column. Then we'll put the steering column in place. So I don't have anybody helping me with video, so I don't know about action shots. That's gonna be kind of tough. I'll do what I can. Okay, so what I done here was I put this in here. I clamped this in place right there where I wanted it. That's not exactly where I wanted it, but that's just showing it. So I clamped it in place where I wanted it, and I made 2 marks on the back. I'll drill a hole here and here. That's going to line up with here and here. That way I can rosette weld those instead of having a weld from the back. And I also put vice grips, 2 small vice grips on the inside. You don't want to weld this piece in here yet. This little bracket back here, just leave it clamped. Should be a clamp on the outside here. 2 clamps, 1 on each side there, and then that clamp all the way over in the end. So don't weld this bracket on here just quite yet. Leave that what it is. I know it's welded up there, but that's okay. Don't worry about it. Okay, so I got my lines marked. There's the dimensions there. 11 inches and 19 inches from this point right here. So now what you need is you need 61 and 3/8, 61 and a half is fine. 61 and a half kind of might be a little bit tight, but 61 3/8 is good. From this point all the way down to that point is about 61 3/8. So now the way these dashes are going to be cut out, they're not going to be cut straight like this one is. They're going to be cut at an angle because it has to go into this section here. This is not supposed to be straight. You can see it right there that the dash is actually straight and the door panel actually curves out. So it has to be wider at the bottom. So on this one I'm going to have to fill this in, but on the ones after this they'll be cut at the right dimension. So you can only use this right here for this dimension right here, 11 and 19, and then after you draw the mark right there, then use the square right here, and then square the lines, and then square through. So that way this has to be perfectly straight through here and through here, just like so. Okay, so we got the part cut out. I just cut this out up here, just made a little round cut out of there. So steering column's in place. So I cut at 11 and 19 in a straight line that I've formed off of here. Don't measure from the edge because it's going to be different. They're different. So here's the part that came out. So you can do one of two things. You can keep this part to go back up in here and just notch it out at the top for the steering column. Or you can use this part that cut out for, there's two little tabs that have to go right here for it to screw to on each side. So you can either cut them off of here, or see, this isn't a tight enough gap right here. That's too loose of a gap. So what I've been doing lately is I cut my tabs that I'm going to put inside here to screw to off of this piece right here, and then I make a new piece of this to go in here that's a nice tight fit. That's why I do all of them now. It's pretty standard now. It works really good. So if you're at this point right here, you're doing good. I've got a couple hours to get to this point, but most of it was from having to set the camera up and stuff. So if you got to that point, you're doing really good. We'll be back with another video here shortly.